Welcome to Fear-Free Friday. I love Fear-Free Fridays. And today's quote comes from Franklin Roosevelt, who said, "The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today." It's really true. Think about your own life. On the days where you're filled with self-doubt, do you feel like you're actually living your best life or doing the things you want to do or turning your dream of writing a book into your reality? Yeah, probably not. I don't either. So I try as much as possible not to live in the land of doubt, in the land of fear. And that's what I want to encourage you to do today on this wonderful Fear-Free Friday. So my name is Christopher D'Armani, and it is my pleasure, it is my passion to empower aspiring Christian nonfiction writers just like you, so you can share the story of how God led you from trauma to triumph, so that you can make the impact you were born to make in this world. And doing this fearlessly is, I'm going to say, the very best way to go, because when you're fearless, you're courageous. And when you're courageous, you're willing to do all those things that are required, like stepping out of your comfort zone, out of that safe, warm, fuzzy place that the blankets are awesome and the beer is cold, or your favorite beverage, whatever it is whatever temperature you like it to be. When everything is, all warm and cozy and comfortable, we don't grow. We might be content in that moment, but there's no growth there, there's no fulfillment there, and there's no change, because there's no need to, because everything you have is right there. But human beings aren't meant to stay living in one spot. We're meant to grow, we're meant to learn, we're meant to help others, we're meant to do all these other things. And it's because we're meant to do all those other things that sometimes these fears and these self-doubts can creep in and try and destroy the thing we want most. So my belief is that the writing life is a courageous life, because we must continually face down our fears, face down our internal demons, and slay every last one of them. So over and over again, we must do this. We must slay our procrastination. We must slay our self-doubt. We must slay our fears about everything in the world, because there's so many of them. Well, what if no one reads my book? Well, no one can read your book because you won't write it. Well, what if no one reads it? What if someone leaves me a terrible, terrible review? Well, if there's something valid to it, learn from it. All of our fears can be are learning opportunities, if we allow them to be. And that's my encouragement on a Fear-Free Friday, is whatever it is you're afraid of, go do that. Because that's the thing that's going to push you further and faster down your journey of publication highway. It really is. Because your courage pays tremendous dividends on this path. So the next time you sit down to write, it's going to be just a little bit easier, because yesterday you slayed your demon of procrastination, at least for that day. It's the only day you got, so today you'll have a different challenge to get over, perhaps. Or maybe today will be a really super easy day. But either way, tomorrow's going to be different, just like yesterday was. So using your courage as often as possible, combining it with your love, joy, gratitude, and compassion. These are what I'll call sort of the 5 pillars of, I have a lot of pillars, I have a lot of the one and only thing, is all kinds of stuff like this. So take that part with a grain of salt, but the 5 pillars for today, love, joy, compassion, gratitude, courage. Embrace every single one of those on your writing journey today. Because with those tools at your disposal, slaying procrastination becomes really easy. Slaying self-doubt becomes no-brainer. Easy. I think what a really important thing to do, and I love this picture of this cat staring you down. This big cat is staring down anything that gets in its path. It's not afraid of anything. And that's how we should approach the writing life. Don't be afraid of anything, because everything here is for your learning and for your benefit. Once we realize that our fear is just a part of an ancient mechanism that kept us safe in some very treacherous times, we also understand that mechanism no longer serves us today. There's no saber-toothed tiger coming for us today. The very worst that could possibly happen to us today, while we're sitting in our office writing our book, is, oh my goodness, maybe the power goes out, or maybe the coffee gets cold, or like, there's nothing in that environment to be afraid of. All those fears live right up here, and they're all manufactured by the little troll I like to call the infernal editor. He never has anything good to say. All he wants to do is tear me down. Never wants to lift me up, never wants to encourage me. He has no place in my life, and yet he sits there nattering way too often, way too often. So back to my point about this awesome tiger. Face down your fear, face down your infernal editor. Thank him for his service, for reminding you that this is actually important, because that's what fear is, a reminder of what's important. The reason you're scared, because it's unknown. The path is unknown, not the thing. But the path might be unknown, and that's what we're always afraid of, the unknown. We're always afraid of doing things for the very first time, because we don't know what the heck we're doing. That's why there's things like guides and coaches and roadmaps and all this great stuff out in the world. So when your fear rears its ugly head, in whatever form that it does so, thank it for its service, pat it on the head, tell it to go away. Then carry on. Just understand, it has no place in your life today, that fear. It just doesn't. It doesn't serve you today. There was a time, millions of years ago, where it did, but not today. Not today. So my encouragement for you today would be to surround yourself with people who believe in you, believe in your vision, believe in your passion, believe in your ability, and lean on them for encouragement on those moments where that infernal editor wants to come out and tell you that you're useless and you don't know how to write and why are you even bothering, because that's all the crap he ever says. And none of it's valid. He has no source of information, right? That's the thing. He's got no source of information. All he has is lies. So lean on these people that know you, like you, trust you, and that you know, like, and trust in return. These are your allies. And then also keep Joshua 1:9 close to your heart, because it's just such an awesome, awesome verse for times like this. Have I not commanded you, God says, be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. That's just like a great big security blanket. And what I love about that quote is that, and the Bible tells us 365 times. I wonder what that has to do with a year. I don't know. 365 times, in some fashion, be not afraid, be courageous. We're not meant to live in fear. We're meant to live in courage. We're meant to live in the courage and the knowledge and in the faith that we can do this, that God put this book on our hearts for a reason. We're here for a reason. It's to help others, to serve others in some capacity. Whatever the challenges of your life have been up to this point, they're to prepare you for the service in the next chapter of your life. Which is why you're here. You want to read a book. You want to write a book. I hope you want to read a whole bunch too, because I'll leave that for another video. Reading is just a really great way of becoming a better writer. I'll just leave it at that for the moment. There's lots of videos on that on my channel. Go search for it there. But you're meant to live in courage. God wants you to live in courage. So do that. Be not afraid. Be courageous. God's got your back in this book and in everything else that you're doing in your life. God's got your back. So just live in the comfort and the knowledge and the safety of that lovely security blanket. Joshua 1:9. It's one of my many all-time favorite verses. There's a couple dozen or 100 or something, I'm sure. I would love for you to connect with me as well on social media. All the links to all my social media accounts can be found at authorcoach.click/Christopher. And whatever your self-doubt is today, or whatever the fear is that's niggling at the back of your mind today, bring it out, shine the light of truth on it, and then watch it run scurrying for the darkness, because that's what it always does. It can't stand the light of truth. It certainly can't stand the light of day. And then embrace that mindset of